In this video, we're going to look at how to solve good old-fashioned quadratics that have no real solutions. And in doing so, we're going to see where complex numbers can come in and actually be the solutions of these quadratics. So that's quadratics, for example, which when plotted don't cross the x-axis. Previously, we've always thought they just don't have solutions. They don't have real solutions, but they do have complex solutions. In this video, we're going to see how to calculate what those complex solutions are. We know that some quadratic equations have no real roots. For instance, if I was to graph them, they might look like this. So setting that quadratic equal to 0, you can see there are no real values of x where this quadratic equals 0. But all quadratics have roots. It's just sometimes they are complex. So let me show you how we can solve a quadratic equation with complex roots. Now there are really two ways of doing this. You can use the quadratic formula and that's going to work absolutely fine, or you can use completing the square. Generally I tend to use completing the square if it's a quadratic with complex roots, but in this question I'm going to show you how to do both. So the quadratic solution, remember, we just do negative b, so that's 2, plus or minus the square root of b squared, so negative 2 squared, which is 4, minus 4ac, so minus 4 times 1 times 5, so that's minus 20. You can already see that negative discriminant means there's no real roots, over 2a, which is just 2 times 1, so over 2. So what do I have in that bracket? I've got 2 here, plus or minus, and that's the square root of negative 16. And that's all over 2, so we can simplify that. So the way that we simplify something like that is to say, well, using surd rules, that's root 16 multiplied by root minus 1. And what is the square root of 16? It's 4. So we've got 2 plus or minus 4. What's the square root of negative 1? It's I, all over 2. And of course, finally, 2 over 2 is 1, plus or minus 4 over 2 is 2. So there we go. There are the two roots of this quadratic equation. It's 1 plus or minus 2i. And that's why it didn't cross the x-axis. Its two roots were complex. Now, personally, I find using the quadratic formula a little bit unnecessarily fiddly here. I think it's easier just to use completing the square. Of course, you can just use a calculator as well, but there are some questions with algebraic unknowns in, which means that doesn't work. But with completing the square, I would say z squared minus 2z. If I do z minus 1 squared, that gives me these first two terms. I correct by subtracting 1 squared. I've still got the plus 5, and that equals 0. Gathering up those numbers outside the bracket, I've got negative 1 plus 5, so that's 4. Subtract 4 from both sides, I get negative 4. Now I square root both sides. So the square root of negative 4 is plus or minus 2i, because, well, think of it as root minus 1 times root 4, that's 2 times I, plus or minus 2i. And finally, you can add 1 to both sides, and so it's 1 plus or minus 2i. And there we have it, the two complex roots of that quadratic. Now, do have a go at this one first if you're feeling confident. So I'm going to do this by completing the square. Z plus 2 squared gets these first two terms. Subtract 2 squared, and I've still got 16 here. Get all of the numbers over onto one side. That's 12, so subtracting 12 from both sides gives me z plus 2 squared equals negative 12. Then z plus 2 is going to be, well, it's the square root of 12 times I. Well, the square root of 12 is 2 root 3, so I've got plus or minus 2 root 3i, which means that z is negative 2 plus or minus 2 root 3i. And these are the two complex roots of that quadratic. Okay, slightly different one here. given that z equals 5 minus I as a solution of the equation z squared plus pz plus q equals 0, find the value of p and q. So to answer this, we need to use the property that you might have noticed in these first two solutions, or first two questions. Whenever you have a quadratic equation with complex roots, just by the process of completing the square, you'll see that you always end up with a plus or minus of the imaginary part and a real part here. So generally the structure, or not generally, always the structure of the complex solutions of quadratics, they're always going to be in the form a plus or minus bi. Another way of phrasing that, the two complex solutions of a quadratic equation are always conjugates of each other. You can see that here. It's because this bit here is always going to be real. The plus or minus bit, it always happens in the bit that could be imaginary. So negative 2 plus 2 root 3i, negative 2 minus 2 root 3i. Okay, solutions to quadratic equations are always complex conjugates. So if 5 minus I is one solution, then 5 plus I is the other solution. Here's what this means. It must mean that when I factorize this quadratic, it must be z minus my first solution, so 5 minus I, times z minus my second solution. And my second solution is just the complex conjugate, 5 plus I. Now let's see what happens when we expand this. I get z squared. Now I get z times this bracket, so that is minus 5 plus I z. Then I get this z times this bracket, so that's minus 5 minus I z. And then I get these two brackets multiplied. The negatives cancel, and I just get 5 minus I times 5 plus I. Okay, let's tidy this up. I've got z squared here. So I've got minus 5z and another minus 5z, so that's minus 10z. I then got minus iz and minus minus iz, so that's plus iz. So those cancel. Then what have I got here? Well, I've got 5 times 5 is 25. The 5i and the minus 5i cancel, and the minus I times I is 1. So I have 5 squared plus 1 squared, that's 26. And so here is the quadratic equation that has 5 minus I as a root, and therefore 5 plus I also as a root. So the value of P was minus 10, and the value of Q was 26.